You believe you're a rational thinker. Most intelligent people do. That's the first symptom of the affliction. This isn't a debate about intelligence versus ignorance. It's about how the machinery of a sharp mind can build the world's most elegant prison. The smartest people on all sides of any issue are utterly convinced they're right, and they all have mountains of evidence to prove it. Where do you stand? By the end of this, you might realize the ground beneath your feet is softer than you think. At its core, confirmation bias feels like a feature, a design choice for an efficient brain. You are deluged with information every second of your life, billions of data points. To function, your brain needs a filter. It needs a way to sort signal from noise, to build a stable model of the world without re-evaluating every single belief from scratch each morning. Confirmation bias is that filter. It's a cognitive shortcut that says, look for what fits, reinforce what you already know, build on the foundation. Think about learning any complex skill. A musician developing their style, a programmer debugging code, a chef perfecting a recipe. You form a hypothesis. This chord progression creates tension. The bug is likely in this module. You then seek evidence that confirms your hypothesis. You play the chords in a new song. You run a test on that specific block of code. This is how competence is built. It's a feedback loop of belief and confirmation. Without it, you'd be trapped in a state of permanent analysis, questioning every note, every line of code, forever. You'd achieve nothing. This drive to confirm is the engine of pattern recognition. It's what allows a doctor to spot a diagnosis from a handful of symptoms, or an investor to see a market trend before the crowd. It's a tool for moving forward in a world of overwhelming uncertainty. That sounds like a superpower, but every tool can be used to build a cage. The problem is, when the filter stops serving you and you start serving the filter, your brain's energy-saving shortcut becomes a full-time job defending its own map of the world. Even when the territory changes, it's a subtle, almost invisible process. You don't consciously decide to ignore contradictory evidence. You just find it less compelling. The study that supports your view is rigorous and groundbreaking. The one that challenges it has methodological flaws or a small sample size. You don't seek out biased news. You just happen to prefer sources that are more thoughtful and well-researched, which coincidentally always align with your perspective. This is where intelligence becomes a liability. A person with average intelligence might hold a biased view. A person with high intelligence can construct a fortress of rationalizations around that same view. They can quote studies, invoke historical precedent, and deploy complex logic. They aren't just believing something. They are building a bulletproof case for it, complete with footnotes and a bibliography. Their intellect becomes the bias's best defense attorney. Consider the brilliant economist who can explain with terrifying precision why their failed prediction will eventually come true. Or the seasoned political analyst whose model of the world remains unchanged, election after election, despite being consistently wrong. The evidence against their belief is a bug they need to fix, a temporary anomaly. It is never a signal that the core belief itself might be rotten. The cage they live in is wallpapered with academic journals and charts. It's comfortable, it feels like wisdom. And here is the most dangerous part. It feels good. Every piece of confirming evidence delivers a small dopamine hit, a neurological reward for being right. Contradictory information, however, triggers a threat response. The anterior insula, the same part of the brain that registers physical pain or disgust, lights up. You feel challenged, attacked. Your brain processes an opposing viewpoint, the same way it processes a punch to the face. So you retreat. You double down. You seek the comfort of another article, another video, another conversation that tells you what you already know. The algorithm on your social media feed is happy to oblige. It's a confirmation bias machine, perfected at planetary scale, serving you an endless buffet of what you already believe. It's a self-perpetuating cycle of validation. Each click trains the machine to build your prison walls a little higher. But let's pause. Let's steelman the counter-argument. Is the proposed alternative, a life of radical doubt, any better? To constantly question every belief, every assumption, every piece of your identity sounds like a recipe for paralysis. A mind that believes nothing can do nothing. You need a stable worldview to navigate reality, to make plans, to have relationships, to build a life. Belief is the psychological bedrock we stand on. To treat every belief as provisional is to live in a permanent earthquake. Is that truly a superior way to exist? Imagine trying to raise a child, run a company, or even choose what to eat for lunch if every single option required a fresh, unbiased first principles analysis. You couldn't. Perhaps confirmation bias, then, is a necessary compromise. It's the price we pay for having a coherent self. We trade a sliver of objective truth for a functional identity. The person who fluidly changes their core beliefs every week based on new information might be more accurate, but they are also unstable. They have no anchor. Their friends and family wouldn't know who they're dealing with from one day to the next. Society dismisses such people as flaky, inconsistent, untrustworthy. We claim to value open-mindedness, but we reward conviction. We elect leaders who are resolute, hire employees who are decisive, and follow experts who are confident. All of these are byproducts of a mind that seeks to confirm, a mind that has picked a hill and is prepared to defend it. This exposes the core tension. The debate isn't about good versus bad, or smart versus dumb. It's about a fundamental trade-off between coherence and accuracy, between having a stable self and seeing the world as it actually is. Your identity is a collection of stories you tell yourself, reinforced by the evidence you choose to gather. That process makes you who you are. It also creates your blind spots. The very mechanism that gives you a solid sense of self is the same one that can make you a fool. The stronger your identity, as a libertarian, a vegan, an artist, a stoic, the more powerful the filter becomes. The more you define yourself by your conclusions, the less capable you are of questioning the premises. The real danger is when you forget this trade-off exists. You start to believe that your coherence is accuracy, that the warmth of certainty is the light of truth. You mistake the comfort of your echo chamber for a clear view of the world. You see those who disagree as misinformed, malicious, or just plain stupid. You fail to recognize that they are running the exact same cognitive software as you, just with different input variables. They are just as convinced of their own rationality. They have their own library of evidence. They feel the same dopamine hit of validation. They feel the same threat response when challenged. Think of two brilliant scientists working on rival theories. Both are masters of logic. Both have data. Both are driven by a genuine desire for discovery. But one has spent 10 years building a career on theory A, the other on theory B. Every new piece of data is filtered through their respective commitments. Ambiguous results are interpreted to support their own theory. Flaws in the rival's work are magnified. Flaws in their own are minimized as puzzles to be solved later. They aren't being dishonest, they are being human. Their intelligence, their expertise is chained to a conclusion they reached years ago. They are both building a case when they should be stress testing a hypothesis. So where does that leave you? The first step is acknowledging the machine in your own head. It's there, it's running right now. It wants you to agree with this video. It wants you to find evidence that confirms what you just heard. Acknowledging the bias doesn't turn it off. There is no off switch. But it can give you a crucial half-second of hesitation. A moment of reflection before you share that article, dismiss that argument, or pronounce judgment. A moment to ask the questions your brain doesn't want to ask. What would it look like if I were wrong? What's the strongest argument against my position? Am I searching for the truth, or am I just searching for allies? This is an exhausting way to live. It's inefficient, it's uncomfortable. It means choosing the hard work of thinking over the easy comfort of knowing. The path isn't to become a person with no convictions, it's to hold your convictions with a little more humility. To understand that your beliefs are tools, not treasures. They are maps you've drawn to help you navigate, but they are not the territory itself. And all maps, eventually, need to be updated. The intelligent fool is the one who worships their map, refusing to believe the landscape could have ever changed. They'd rather crash into the mountain than admit their map is out of date. So, here is the question that remains. The tool that allows you to build a stable identity is the same tool that blinds you to reality. One cannot exist without the other. You can't turn it off. You can only be aware of the price it demands. How much certainty are you willing to trade for a clearer view of the world? And if your own mind is designed to hide that trade-off from you, how would you ever know if you've paid too much?